Mr. Kotak,
Yes,
many
Shereen.
thanks for joining us here. This is a Saturday surprise or a Saturday shock. I don't know what to call it. But take me through why you felt the need to make this decision. We spoke barely a week ago. You didn't give any indication on how soon you were anticipating to make this change. You did, of course, talk about succession, but you didn't give any indication or a hint about the fact that you were looking at this decision being barely a week away.
So, Shireen, the bank is required by the Reserve Bank to have three senior positions step down no later than 31st of December, which is the chairman, managing director, and the joint managing director. So we are all in what is called the transition phase as per the regulatory guidelines. And since all three of us were supposed to be going out before 31st December, I felt it appropriate that we sequence the transition. And therefore, I took the decision and went to the board with my resignation. And the board has accepted my resignation, at the same time has appointed Mr. Dipak Gupta in the interim as the Managing Director and CEO, subject to RBI approval. Mr. Dipak Gupta's term also ends on 31st December. The bank has also confirmed today that it has made its application for the new CEO well in time to the RBI, and we are awaiting RBI's approval on that. Therefore, it is a sequencing process. I step down today. Subject to RBI approvals, Mr. Gupta continues in the interim at the CEO up to 31st December. And hopefully within this period, we will have RBI approval for the CEO, who would then take charge from January 1. So this is a very thought-through sequencing process. And our current chairman also retires on December 31.
Well, Mr. Kotak, apologies. As I said, this is a Saturday surprise and a shock. So I'm speaking to you from the airport, and there's a lot of ambient noise over me. But I wanted to get a couple of clarifications in, sir, because as you pointed out, even Mr. Gupta's appointment is an interim measure pending the RBI's approval. But you were also meant to submit names to the RBI, proposals from your end as possible successors by the 31st of August. Have you sent in those names, Mr. Kotak?
Yes, Shereen, we have sent in those names well in time to the Reserve Bank of India. And I would also like to clarify that the board has appointed me as a non-executive director on the board today.
Mr. Kotak, can you tell us how many names have been sent to the Reserve Bank? Is it 2 or more?
The requirement is at least 2 names, and the bank has sent 2 names in order of priority.
And are these both internal candidates, that the names that have been sent, sir, or is it a mix?
Shereen, I think you'll have to wait for that information. So keep your horses held till then.
I'm just trying to understand what the next course is likely to be. But Mr. Kotak, as you wrote in your statement and as you said in the interview that we did barely a week ago, that you have managed to build an institution that will hopefully outlive its founder, and pretty much on the lines of what has happened globally with financial institutions. You named some of them as well. How confident do you feel at this point in time in being able to hand over the reins, hand over the baton as you make this transition, as you make this change?
Shereen, Kotak Mahindra Bank now has more than 100,000 employees as a group. As you know, we started this in 1985 with 3 employees, 300 square foot office space in Flora Fountain, Mumbai. And we've come some ways over the last 38 years. I see the strength of our management team, the depth of our institution as quite outstanding. And I'm very confident that the institution, Kotak Mahindra Bank, which I'm also very proud, is a majority Indian-owned institution, will play a major role in the future of India.
I know you're stressing on the Indian ownership aspect, and I know that is something that that you have subtly as well as directly, many times sort of tried to re-emphasize the Indian ownership of the bank versus the large FII holdings in others. But Mr. Kotak, couldn't this have happened in December, which is when your term was meant to end? That was the expectation as well. Why the need to do this? Because even Mr. Gupta's appointment is an interim appointment, is an interim measure. So could this not have just happened in December?
I think that one is the point of sequencing and transition. We think it is important that we sequence and transition. The second, as you know, probably, that my older son's marriage is there in November. So I have personal and family commitments as well, which I would like to give fair attention to. And then the proximity thereafter to my retirement and the marriage was also very small. So keeping all these facts in mind, I've been mulling over this for a while. And I just felt that it's better that I move and step down in good time rather than hanker till the last day.
Well, congratulations on the news of your son's wedding, sir, and my best wishes to you. But Mr. Kotak, you talked about sequencing, and this is, in a sense, the first big step in that sequence that you are laying out up until December. Of course, the regulator will have a say in each one of these measures and each one of these steps. What next now in terms of sequencing from here on?
So I think we, now that we have taken this step, we await a decision on the CEO. We've also made an application for the non-executive chair, for which again, we will wait from the RBI for its decision. So both these are important decisions which we will await from our regulator. And extremely important for us is to make sure that the institution from the minds of the investors continues to perform. It's a very stable institution. It has got solid financials. And we want also to make sure that we reduce the uncertainty in minds of investors as we go forward.
But wouldn't the uncertainty linger, Mr. Kotak, because we don't know who the eventual successor will be, and there is still a big question mark on whether it will be an internal candidate or an external candidate, and all of this is still, as I pointed out, pending RBI approval. So doesn't the uncertainty linger?
From all the decisions which the bank had to take, the bank has taken. Submitting the names for the CEO, submitting the name for the chairmanship, Mr. Kotak stepping down and moving out from, in a way, and having Mr. Dipak Gupta become the interim CEO. So all the steps which the bank had to take, the bank has taken to put in place a commitment to smooth transition as we go forward. And I genuinely believe that the way forward is looking very, very positive for the strength and stability of Kotak Mahindra Bank.
Has there been any communication with the Reserve Bank, sir? Of course, not on the names that have been sent, but on the decision that's been taken for you to step down and Mr. Gupta to come in?
Yes, after the board decided, the bank has communicated with the Reserve Bank on the decision of the board.
But informally, there was no sounding out with the regulator about this move.
The board of the bank is fully conscious of its fiduciary responsibility, including confidentiality to all its stakeholders. And the board has acted after I took the decision to step down. Therefore, the decision to step down was taken by me. It was a voluntary decision. And there has been no discussion of any nature prior to that decision with the Reserve Bank of India.
Mr. Kotak, what is the aspiration, the expectation that you now have as you hand over the reins, as you pass on the baton to your successor? What would be the, in order of priorities, as you're talking about sequencing, what would be the priorities that you would like your successor to focus on as and when he or she should join?
My sense is Kotak Mahindra Bank has a tremendous opportunity. Indian financial sector has an opportunity. And I do believe India is at a unique position in history to transform itself in a significant manner. And I would love to see, as a non-executive director and a significant stakeholder, to see this institution flourish in the years ahead.
what has been the big learning and the big lesson for you? What do you take away, at the end of this 4-decade-long journey that you've made? As you reflect back, Mr. Kotak, what are some of the pivotal moments that really define your journey and the bank's journey?
I think the most important message which I take for myself is what you create must outlive you. And there has to be passion, there has to be purpose, and there has to be process. There has to be trust and transparency as you build the institution along the way. And extremely important to preserve the essence of entrepreneurship, even in one of the most regulated sectors.
Right. Mr. Kotak, before I let you go, how do you feel today? Because it is a big decision. I would imagine it's a very emotional decision as well for you. As you made this voluntary decision, as you took this voluntary choice, what were the thoughts that were going on in your head, and how do you feel about that today?
No, I am really very grateful to all the stakeholders, to the board, to the employees, to the regulators, to all my family, friends, and all others who have helped me live my dream.
Mr. Kotak, it's always a pleasure. We wish you the very best of luck. Thank you very much for joining us on this big breaking story this Saturday afternoon. We'll hopefully have a much more detailed conversation as the regulator weighs in with its approvals on the decisions that have been taken. But as always, many thanks for joining us today.